is the Modern Vibes on VybezRadio.
And we will definitely reward you. Right now, there's a question to Moliza up on the socials. Unadhani vijana wako on a level playing field with older guys in politics? Should they wait till they're older so that they can participate in politics? Independent presidential aspirant PIGBIN. Welcome to the show. I'll introduce in a bit.
Yes.
And also, we've got Winnie Meru. She's a political analyst, and we're going to be having this conversation. So I just want you to know, Liza, tumeona bahati ya kilia. Bahati yake iliisha. Tumeona Westlands ilikuwa Wanyonyi. Wanyonyi akasema naenda governor. Lakini kulikuwa na mayor hapo, Michael Gumo. Alikuwa anasimama hapo very dangerous. Na tribunal. Na si walifanya tribunal?
Yes.
They went into the tribunal.
I need to confirm that.
Walienda na tribunal ika-uphold Michael ndo alikuwa anafaa kwa hiyo kitu. Weekendi sijui ni games gani zimefanyika Wanyonyi sasa anasimamia.
Si waliambia waende nomination nyingine party kasema we ain't got no time for that. Patia Wanyonyi hiyo ticket haraka.
Uliona by the lakini politics haina love.
But this is not the first time it's
politics
happened.
Haina love. Wacha nikwambie, ukikuwa na brother yako anakuambia I told you. Si nilikwambia.
Ungerun independent.
On the internet. You're trolling me on the internet.
Tell your brother
wait.
At you maintain your frame.
Si nilikwambia brother. Brother si nilikwambia hao watu wa respect. That's so crazy. Anyway, in studio we've got two amazing people. One is an independent presidential aspirant. Aluta continua. Tuambie jina.
Stay strong.
Thank you very much. My name is PIGBIN Odimwengo.
PIGBIN.
Yeah, PIGBIN Odimwengo. That's my name.
The B is silent.
Yes.
PIGBIN.
Odimwengo.
Nilikuwa nafikiri walikuname after Big Pin. All right. And karibu sana. We're going to talk about your presidential aspirations.
Hi, good morning. My name is Winnie Meru.
Winnie, welcome to the show. So, umesikia historia weta? Raf. Do you have a brother in politics?
I'm the brother in politics.
You're the brother
You're
in
the
politics.
brothers.
All right, we're going to talk about that.
Yes.
21 minutes past 8 a.m. Join the conversation. And the conversation we're asking, vijana wako na a level playing field. Kwa sababu tumemba tujitokeze, tujionyeshe.
Remember, this is our era.
Itabidi mkwe independent bazi. We're going to come back and talk about it. But I don't know, it just feels like a threat. Don't question my laugh. I'm like, I get it. Dancehall is hella romantic. Dancehall ndio alikuwa na ile story ya
about the
damn.
But naturally sort out your maneno,
aliambiwa please don't question my love.
Listen, sometimes maze the first instance still lazima ikue productive. You know what I mean?
All right, 25 minutes past 8 a.m. we are talking on MJADALA, Court of Public Opinion. Like we told you, we've got two guests in studio. And we are getting right into this conversation. So, PIGBIN, you are actually a presidential aspirant. And you're the first person I'll ask this question. Do you feel like you have a level playing field with, the other presidential aspirants?
Definitely no. There was this alternative of having, of course, independent candidates running, because you realize that many political parties might not even have a youngest presidential aspirant. As a young person, it's very hard to get that support from political parties. And therefore, we decided to go to this route of independent candidature. But you realize there are some immediate or urgent requirement that our IEBC is putting in place. Like, for example, now that you are supposed to produce copies of IDs of those who sign for you to endorse you.
What?
Hey!
That I need to produce 2,000 signatories from 24 counties.
I heard about
and
that.
I need to work with their copies of IDs.
That's crazy.
That I present to the IBC. Now just try to imagine how you can implement that. That means in the villages there, you'll be working with either a battery charge printer where you get a copy of ID and move with it. And you realize it's not even in terms of the expense. For example, for my side, I'll need to have 48,000 signatories. So times maybe if a printing cost of an ID is 10 bob, that's close to 480,000. While the nomination fee that I'm required to pay as a young person presidential aspirant is 100,000. The process is expensive than the requirement fee. Leave alone that in terms of the expenses. The question is, for example, how do you go implement this? Do the IBC even have the time to go through those 48,000 signatories?
That's a good question.
Times 47 aspirants. A political party is registered by 1,000 signatories in 24 counties. And a political party will be having 1,000 aspirants using 24,000 copies of ID, while one person going for presidency will be having 48,000 copies of ID, more than even a political party. So you realize how that is, and it is very urgent now. This rule has been silent since 2011. It has never been implemented. Then you wonder, poop, they're there, that you want you to come with copies of ID. To my side, leave alone even the cost. The question is, what's the security protocols of these copies of ID? Do you have a legal policy framework on how this data is going to be stored, processed, and safeguarded? You see, and the IBC required almost 8 billion to go through 4,000 signatures of 4 million signatures of BBI. Now, how much will it cost them to go through the 48,000 my copies times 47,000 47 aspirants times other 7,000 independent aspirants who are also coming with signatures and copies of ID? Do they really have this, or is it just a means of blocking us? You see, that was tough.
He brings some very interesting points, and he's actually said that this particular rule hasn't been implemented since 2011, right? So
I'm not so sure about it not being implemented, but it has been existing. It has been existing. And I think the idea was to ensure that only serious candidates actually get to the ballot. Because you can imagine, if we're talking about 47 aspirants, if all these guys make it to the ballot, we're really talking about having a booklet. You know, is that what we want? And remember, that's only just for one position. Then multiply that by the number of positions or the people who we vote. There are 6 people that you vote for, you know, starting from the president right down to the person who's representing the ward, who's the MCA. So if we're going to do 47 times all those across the country, you're going to have a whole newspaper. In fact, it's going to take us 2 days just to get through the election. So I think the idea was to ensure that, first of all, we can remove, you know, any jokers or any serious people, people who are not serious, so that only the serious people make it to the ballot.
Do you think there are actually people who are not serious? Is that what you're saying? Maybe.
You know, of course, that's relative. And it's everyone's democratic right to vie for any position.
That's a question. I mean, if you're gonna, with the cost he's already saying, I'm looking at what, close to 600,000, and we have not even started campaigning, right? That's just to get in entrance fee. It's too high. Like if there's a Django guy, for example, who says, you know what, I want to be the president of this country, he has to go and look for 600K to entrance fee. That's crazy.
We're assuming you want to take care of our budget, which is billions.
50 million Kenyans.
But he's not spending his money. He's spending our money.
Yes, of course, But then at least then we have to see that you're capable of even managing. A little. But back to your original question. Yes, I do also agree that it's unfair and it's not a level playing field for the youth. In terms of getting the signatures and the votes, that I think is critical. That must be gotten. But in terms of, you know, nomination fees and other things, in fact, even getting room or space in political parties, now
let's talk about it. This year we're seeing a lot of independence, even for women who are just choosing, you know what, forget it, I'm going this route, because I think you're now starting to realize that politics is not a man's game. It's an older man's game. It's an old boys club.
Exactly.
Right? And you're coming in and saying, guys, I think I have to shh. Grown-ups are talking. So you're finding yourself having to go independent. Right? How's that journey been? Would you have preferred to be in a party?
I'll say that, of course, as you say, the cost of course running for this seat will be expensive for ordinary citizen. The reason why we are 47 of us is because the few who became the leaders have messed this country, and 47 of us are ready to change this. If they had, of course, controlled this country in the right direction, we could not be 47 of us. And to you or to some of them, they will be seeing us as jokers. But this course of life, if it takes jokes, then let this be joke, because we are really suffering. If what you go through will take 100 of us to come out, is to me is a show of how many people are really feeling the pinch of this cost of everything else. Personally, I'm just an ordinary man. I'm a cobbler, an ordinary cobbler. Repair shoes.
You know,
Tawala here. I repair shoes. Just ordinary cobbler. Sometimes I'm a barber. But I have all the qualifications in terms of education qualifications, and I'm feeling the pinch down here. But now, if this people will be running offices, will be people with money, it means they will not be in touch with the reality. And every day, don't expect them to be around the city there to help us. So will be calling us every day, youth come out and go vote. If it's not for us, that's the question.
But here's another question. So we have a lot of young people who are getting into and really wanting to get the support. We are a country filled with young people. Do you think you're getting the support from the young people?
The reality is that, of course, for a long time, we've been testing the support of young people to people who are not young. It's like the old people will be coming and gathering young people and telling them go vote us. But when now the young people are coming, and if we get this space well enough to, of course, finish the requirements here, I'm telling young people are going to come out. Because if they're not going to come out, you saw the voter turnout, the registration turnout.
Yes.
It means that if they're not going to have one of their own, even the turnout to vote will be very minimal. You see, because this older generation have messed this younger generation, and the best thing they need to do is to come and support this younger generation to save this country for the next generation.
No, but I hear you.
Let me ask.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
But here we talk to hapa tunashinda tu na wase wa base mazi. Na wanatuambia kila siku sasa ukiniambia ati Pidgin unaenda kufanya campaign tuseme hapo utawala. My youth hawatambui kitu yote except do.
Bas.
Si ati allegiance ni kwa mzae zi. No. Your allegiance ni kwa shilingi.
Let me tell you the reality.
I want you to hold that thought. Okay. Kumbuka tunakwambia Safaricom inakwambia utanyosha hiyo shilingi. When we come back, we're talking about youth in politics. What are your thoughts? Na nataka nifungue phone lines ndio muongee na wasisi ndio. But we're coming back.
This is the Modern Vibes on Vibes Radio.
Huyo anaitwa Mana Badman. Ra. Ukipatana naye huko nje usicheke naye. Usimcheze.
Mimi niko na muscles. Mimi siwezi
anaweza kukudunga nini ya haga.
Kajakiwa.
Bravo. Si unijakiwa. Cruising. Nakwambia ukipatana naye usicheze naye.
Na siku hizi tumekuwa sharp. You know there's a time nilikuwa na cheki kuna place huko Nyeri walikuwa noza ngoda za chuma.
Ati?
You've never heard about this? It's an innovative
Stop
one.
It. What? Yani ya kukuprotect leo na kumitijakiwa.
Hadi kuna padlock.
But luckily guys, usipanic. Hawezi pata na jakiwa kwa sababu ako prison.
Can you imagine?
Hata ungefanya hivyo in Africa. Kwa wazungu.
Let him try that in Kenya. I promise you. Why jaribu kutouch a great Kenyan ati umemdunga umekuja kuperform and you're humming a Kenyan. So Rudy.
Let me tell you something. Unakumbuka Koffi Olomide?
Yes.
Alikuja kwa airport yetu anapiga makofi.
Imagine.
Aliambiwa brother.
How dare he?
Beba vitu zako.
Return to sender.
Ayavingi zile over there. Ayavingi zile kwenda huko. Upa hapa.
Bolingo issues.
Bolingo huko my friend.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're having a conversation. 21 minutes to 9 a.m. By the way, shinda kama umetutumia hizo mavideo because somebody atatoka hapa na ka airtime na tumesema umeona hiyo Eldoret.
It's crazy. Hey. But guys, remember unafaa kutumia hashtag pia nyoosha shilingi. Yes, that's how we can catch up and of course tutawapatia maizo my airtime before we get out of here. But yeah, I like the energy. Let's keep it up.
All right. Kwa studio, of course, we're having the conversation about do youth have a level playing field kwa hii election? We've had so many crazy things. Hata leo tumeona Michael Gumu ameambiwa step aside. Wanyonyi's got to do this thing. Tumeona Bahati akilia. Ukijua Bahati akilia unajua
things are thick.
Things are thick.
We saw that guy from Game, Elisha Odhiambo, yeye pia kanyang'anywa ticket, kina Wanyonyi, like you said, Wanyonyi, kina
watu wanapangwa.
And are you surprised?
I'm not surprised.
Yes.
It's why we're seeing so many independents who are just deciding, you know what, forget you. Mi naendelea mbele. But we, of course, were talking to Pidgin and the conversation we were having is sahi ukienda kwa ground, youth are open for money. Watu wanataka pesa. Economy ni mbaya. But ukisema okay, as young people we should be supporting each other. Sindio? It would be obvious that even the presidential aspirant ukisimama unasema mabonzo inafaa kwa hivyo. Lakini pesa, how are you managing that?
Allow me say that. You see, sisi kwa ground tumejua nani akona do. So when you come to the ground na do lazima tupe hiyo do. But sisi wenye tuko ground they know huyu nani. Kama mimi wakikuja base yangu najua this guy is a cobbler there. They'll come there, we do our own stories every day. They'll not ask me money. I'll tell you last week my friend called me in Ronda pipeline here. He told me I have and do the around. So why don't you come over? I'll take you around the street pipeline.
Alikuwa offer kukupatia transport na nduthi.
So I was at pipeline Ronda.
Unafanya campaign na nduthi na wasewa na kama hapo na mapatrol na Prado.
The issue is those who are Prado, let them come with Prado. But those who are in the ground, sisi Kenya tunaweza phone nduthi. Na tunaweza ongea na watu wetu. So
na unasikiza?
Unapatia audience.
In fact, my friend yenda nita kaniambia I'm giving you my ndudhi. If you anything now move around.
So utatumia ndudhi kutraverse Kenya mzima.
Sasa nikuulize huyo msee wa ndudhi ndio running mate.
Yes, running mate. These guys are just my followers. I'll tell you. Even the time I started registering a political party when I was 23.
Wow.
And I started in a WhatsApp group.
Party inaitwaje?
Inaitwa Accountability and Transparency Party.
Hey.
And by that time we were able to reach a level whereby we got a provisional certificate. It required that we pay 100,000. Guys were sending money via my pay bill, which we created a till number. They were sending 10 bob, 20 bob. We raised 100,000 and registered provisionally.
How long?
By the time we were requested to pay for provisional registration was on 2020 around August, and we were supposed to pay for that money by around October 2020. And by that October 2020, we were having the money.
Nice.
And we paid the provisional registration of that party. Then from there now, we were now taken round. Now we need to have offices, set up offices. Now from that time, I thought, now, if it is matter of offices, let me now look for these big boys around to help us set up offices. In fact, if I was still to be leaving my young men around, we could have our offices. So when I started going to these big men offices, ilikuwa like kuja siku fulani nimesikia idea iko fiti. It took almost 6 months.
Alafu ungeingia coalition. But let me ask you something real quick.
So unasema, hold on. So unasema watu wako ready and willing to support.
That's the idea.
Cheki. Unajua kwa grao najua venye watu wanasema, lakini kwa ballot how do you watu Kenya wanajua tu, even right now the media is talking and saying it's a 2-horse race. It's not. It's a 47-horse race.
Now 2-horse race watapigiwa kura na nani? Si ni
wanapiga. Ni hao tu. Kwa sababu watu wanatambua hizi sitaki kutumia jina dynasty kwa sababu nitambua nina
tumia tu.
Odingas, Kenyatta, Ruto.
AKA dynasties.
Lazima ujulikane.
But Pidgin nilikuwa nakuuliza ukibonga na wase. For example sasa uko independent, before now you're stamped and approved to talk ballot. Before that, what wambianga shida gani you go through? And then what solutions are you offering? What's our main problem?
You see, mimi shida na go through si hata inafanya wa inform.
Si wewe. The country, the youth.
No, what I go through is what every youth go through.
Okay,
kitu ngumu tu sana sasa hizi tukiwa huko mtaa. Brother na mkasubu unashindwa leo utaenda mjengo wapi? Hadi hiyo mjengo jiko wapi?
Yaani hakuna kazi.
Then utarudi jioni hauna job. Unaona? Acha atakuwa na fact that hauna job inamaanisha hata kama uko na familia hizi run.
Utafika
kwanza. Unafikiria utapata opportunities wapi? Alafu utasikia tu kwa magazeti pesa fulani iliombwa kutoka China SG bilioni fulani ilifika.
Sasa serikali yako inawapatia solution gani? Hiyo ndio tunakuuliza.
The first solution to help this country.
Practical solutions.
First thing is we must accept to run a government within our means first. Within our means first.
So you'll slash the government budget.
It's simple. If you can raise revenue 2 point whatever trillion, let's first of all squeeze yourself within that. Sasa mbona tunaningi na 1 trillion debt every day of 2 trillion 1 trillion until when? So when you have government within our means, and that's what I tell citizens, it's only ordinary citizen like myself who can accept any low pay and any less whatever luxuries. You see? Me tell me that you want to give me 300,000 as a president. I'm ready because I'm earning around maybe 10,000 15,000 per day. What's that? But to tell these guys who run big machines that now do a pay cut, it's not going to work out. You see? Tell them that you're going to slash USG what Sleeping Alliance or whatever entertainment alliance. It's not going to work out.
What about corruption? How will you handle that?
Corruption is very simple. There are so many guys who are corrupt in the system. And I'm sure as a president, he must be having all information relevant. And I'm sure any organ of this government is ready to help the president if the president is ready to do what is right. It's simple as such. So if you have all the information that so and so is this and this way, why don't you liars with ever is it is DCI or DPP so that they start the probe to this guy? You see, they probe the guy, they check everything that's relevant. The court can't deny you.
Now here's another question. You're running as an independent, right?
Yes.
And presidency.
Yes.
Upate parliament yote, both houses ni Jubilee ama ni Azimio. Utafanya hizi vitu zote zitakuwa idealist ideas. Watakata kila kitu. Unasema slash budget, tutazislash aje?
You need parliament's approval.
Now, do you want to say that politicians who are elected in this country by citizens must owe allegiance to the party and not the citizens who elected them?
We are talking about
what
we see.
The fact that you're elected by Jubilee, for example, the fact that you're elected by Jubilee, it doesn't mean that Jubilee elected you. It means the citizens elected you. Unless I'm having a manifesto that is not, of course, relevant to the citizens. You see? Because irrespective of the political divide you are in, if it is something from Wananchi, why don't you come in? And at the end of the day, we have over 7,000 independent aspirants, more than even party aspirants. So if we... that's what I will tell the citizens. Why don't you elect those 7,000 independent aspirants so that we can dominate those houses instead of having party
that's
a
very
interesting
party
aspirants. He might be a youth like myself, but he's maybe in ODM or UDA. Then when he gets in there with good intention, then he'll be called out to either Karen or whatever houses, Orange House, and they're told, no, kijana sikia idea ya party ni so fuati idea ya party nilikuleta hapa ndani kama iko songa nje. You realize that's why these guys you tell them that it start from MCA by the time anafika MP is a good breed of your party ideas and no longer citizens ideas.
So you're telling Kenyans independence is the way to go.
Simple, because parties have helped us with what? Even they don't know even the ideology anymore. It's about the party leader calling people and telling them muende mpitishe bill. It's not even about the ideologies of those parties.
Now I want to switch to you. We've seen this is not the first time we're seeing youth jumping into politics. The last election we saw the highest number of young people, but you have young people who are saying these guys haven't helped us. Is it that we are too eager? Because I'm hearing what he's saying, and I can see a lot of challenges that he would face if he's an independent candidate. Is it that the youth are not prepared? They're getting in with idealistic ideas were like
pipe dreams.
Hapana, singesema hivyo because hata mimi nilijaribu once.
Ulirun independent
2013. Hapana, mimi nilirun na
chama gani?
That time ilikuanga URP. Hiyo ndio ilikuwa ground. Na mimi nimetoka.
What did you run for?
Turbo MP.
Okay.
So mi kitu ningesema kama my youth wangeza kusupport every youth candidate. Hii nchi ingekuwa mbali sana. But my youth wenyewe hawata support youth candidate mwenzao. That's number 1. Number 2, story ya kusema kitu ka independent, and that is the reason hata sazile nilishindwa tu at nomination. Si kwenda independent, nilibaki tu kwa chama. Because to say acha nikwambie, tuambiane ukweli, hakuna mali utaenda bila chama. How many, and we can just look at history. Ni wangapi wale wamefaulu sana ka independent in the last parliament ama in the others, in the ones before our
stronghold.
Lakini hizi parties are openly young.
Whether stronghold ama takasi stronghold ni wangapi hata wafiki
the few.
Exactly. Why? Because the party sponsors you. Ukiwa independent doni yako, utazunguka wewe mwenyewe, gari ni yako, utaprint t-shirt wewe, kila kitu. Hakuna mtu anakuja
kufanya. But Winnie, why is it so hard to stay in the party? Ukinyimwa ticket mso jama anasema I'll go independent. Why is it so hard to just believe in the party and grow through the ranks?
And grow in the ranks.
Why are youth so desperate? For example, Bahati, why couldn't you just stay in Jubilee? Akayapo, support whoever is there.
Wachana mtoto wa Bahati.
No, seriously, because wasa wanasema guy, I mean, this is the first time. Unalia nini ndo umefail the first time? Why do you think that mentality inakuanga kwa ma young aspirants wengi? Unanyimwa ticket?
Jiamini tu sana.
Na nikuulize, no, honestly, let's be real. Tukue realistic kidogo. Nipatie allegiance kasa hii Azimio, right? So niseme wacha nikukoi. Alafu 2 years into this government, Azimio pangala tumeletwa anew. I mean, these parties don't last.
No, lakini utapata kacheo. That time hata mimi sinilibaki URP. Sikutoka na nikaingia Women's League na nilikuwa na cheo kwa Women's League ya chama. So the thing is, kazi ni you need to work within the party. It requires you to work within the party. Si tunaenda pale tu na kwa tu spectator ama unakuwa flower kama demo.
Una vitu mob unaweza fanya.
Lazima exactly be active, onekana huko, support chama, support ule mtu ameshinda hiyo ticket na uende na yeye mbele. Utaget vitu za kufanya na of course hivyo ndio unapata ka board position exactly something. Lakini ukiwa solo hivi hata shila hata ukiambiwa kidole kimoja hakivunji chawa. History because the thing is, as a country, we are not yet mature to say.
Do you think many independents? Winnie, do you think many independents will fail?
There's 7,000, and are they listening to you right now?
Sema, hiki tu we're open here. We're being honest. Kusema tu kweli. Just straight in front of PIGBIN.
Acha nikwambie. Kawe ni independent, wewe ni mtu umejulikana tu sana. Umejulikana sana. Umekuwa kwa ground for at least the last 5 years. Yes. Yani from 2017 wewe umeonekana, umeenda kila church, kila everywhere. Umezunguka kila mahali. Kani MCA umezunguka hiyo ward yote, kila mtu anakujua. So that by the time hata ma elections zinaanza, everybody knows you. You don't even I need hiyo chama. Lakini ukianza tisaizi atikaa hiyo ati mnaenda nomination unaanguka, alafu unafikiria ukilia
it's later.
Lakini acha sijui kama uliona the last election. MP wa Starehe aliingia na machozi. 10 minutes to 9 a.m. We're coming back to wrap up this conversation. Do you agree? Ama unasema you've got a different opinion? Hit us up on the hashtag Kwambooks and Cavs.
This is the Modern Vibes on VybezRadio.
I gotta delete you. Na kudelete wewe. Wenda kudelete.
And part of being real is the youth wanafa kujua gava easy to saidia sana. And you know, and that's my next question for our brother over here. You know, do you actually keep it real with your people? Unaweza waambia wewe nye kuna vitu zingine msiwezi wa overpromise. Is it possible to be honest with the people?
Do the people like honesty?
It's possible.
That's a good question.
But what is honesty?
Honesty, just tell us. Usitudanganye uruambia utatule.
Kama msi anakuja nakwambia in 6 months.
Tuka hizo.
Stop the 6 months.
In 100 days.
Stop the 6 months.
Yeah.
You see what I'll tell you plainly. I'm going for presidency. And if I don't get it, I'll be peaceful to remain a cobbler until the day I'll get it. I'll be there even if it will take me 30 years every day to be on that ballot until the day citizens will decide that now is time. And every day as they're making choices, every day it gets worse. There's no possibility of it getting better. Tutajikaza, tutavumilia, but itafika mahali ati mishipi yenyewe itakatika.
Wow.
Tukifika to that age, then people decide.
Okay.
But what I tell them, the problems we voted in, we cannot be in the street fighting for the same problems. We just have to vote out those problems. Simple. Hakunanga haja to spend bado time to rushane mamawe huko tukisema government. This one time we have, after 5 years we'll have another one. Let's try to see if we can fix it.
All right. So now, before we took the break, there was a conversation around parties. Party ndio itakusaidia, right? Do you agree with that?
To some way, of course, because party have resources. And you see, one thing is that the problem with the parties is there's no democratic process enough. That's why you see, if somebody is feeling like niliwekwa nje, you realize that it is not practical. Like for example, when these guys decided to say that now we are going to do zoning that in Southern Nairobi, we will go and kwa hii rudi chini sasa. You realize, will you feel satisfied that now let me just obey these guys until when? You see, if things are democratic enough and practical enough, you'll be satisfied. But you cannot submit to somewhere where your senses or your conscience telling you that it's not right.
You're not appreciated.
But you know, there's the party and what the party wants. It's a vehicle to get there. And if you don't get the nomination and you choose to go independent, I mean, the party has already done the math and seen this is the best person, because I mean, we're all just trying to serve people, right? Also, now if everybody now says, okay, you know what, I'm done with the party, 20 independent.
Surely.
What is the burden for Kenyans?
You see, I'll say that the biggest challenge now, and as we are going to election, let's Kenyans vote leaders, not parties. Because I don't even remember even the last time party gave a statement on behalf of anything going on in this country, that now this party is giving a statement on the cost of living or whatever. It's just individuals who give their own statements, not particularly a party. So parties in this country are not that strong enough, with foundation strong enough and principles strong enough to defend a citizen. Only individuals in those parties are coming out to defend citizens. And therefore we should not assume that an individual sentiment is a party sentiment. You see? Right. So let's vote leaders. Kama kijana ama mwanamke alikuwa ndo mnamtaka, hata kama alinyimwa na amekuja ground, sumumchague. At the end of the day ni moja wenu, you see. But I'm saying that is a start.
Now there's a question he asked. He said, are you honest with Kenyans? Now, do Kenyans like honesty? Venye unamwambia cheki sisi sote tunasafa, ama wanataka shangwe na shamra
hype.
Yes, vibes and
vibes, hype.
But what is the outcome? The outcome of these vibes is that people stop participating in election and even registering, because it's a continuous lies that come more of a betrayal, series of betrayal. But somebody atakwambia leo, I had a guy who will be telling me yesterday I had him in my shop, na niambia mbona niamuke tena nipige kura, na ama follow aliniambia the same thing that time na hako haifanya. Mbona kuja tena nisikizizo laizano niamuke 5 asubuhi nipange line hadi jioni, nipe jamaa fulani job na nimejua vizuri hizo vitu ananiambia ndi kuifanya. What's the essence, you see? So as much as it's vibes, but the more we continue putting these lies out there, actually there's betrayal, there's lack of trust from citizens, and therefore citizens will stop taking active participation in leadership.
But I've got 1 minute. I want to hear from you, Winnie. We're getting into an election. Lots of young people, lots of women, lots of. Do you think the independents will get a chance, considering the many?
They're very many. The independents will get a chance if the voters are honest. Unaona hiyo story tu umesema, are we being honest? Kwa sababu ni sisi wa Kenya si uenda pale kupiga ballot. Tutapiga domo hapa, hata tutasema mtu fulani ni mbaya. Lakini utapata huyo mtu mwingine ameamka asubuhi kwenda kupiga huyo mtu huyo mmesema ni mbaya, atampigia kura. For whatever reason, labda alichotewa do, labda sijui aliambiwa nini, alipata 50 bob, we don't know. Lakini kasi wa Kenya tungeamua tu na roho moja. Tuseme mtu kaa Winnie ni mtu mpoa na mnajua anaweza hiyo job, mpigieni hiyo kura. So that way young women will get in, youth will get in. Exactly. Lakini ubaya wetu ni mauongo tu mob, because kusema kweli voters wa nchi hii my youth ni wangapi? We're the majority.
We're the majority.
Exactly.
But I don't know about showing up at the ballot. Hao wenye huko ngapo wanafanya tu au kuongea na voters card.
Vijana hoye. Magal mwa.
So disrespectful. It's now 9 a.m. Thank you so much.
Rebels and reggae heads, start your day the MVP way. Where you are the MVP. No negative vibes.